Once again, sitting in here with Superintendent Wyeth Jessee from the Shelton School District. School has started.
It has, Jeff. It's official.
How exciting is it for you as you've been able to kind of, I know it's very short in the new year, but, you know, undoubtedly you've had a chance to hear some things already, see some things already, visit in some of the newer administrators of the different classes. How's it feel out there?
It's great. Almost 2 days done.
I know, it's very early.
Days of school.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody out there is checking them down already. I think it's gone. We've had I say this every year. We had a tremendous success. We do things very well. We are very fortunate to have a lot of staff who work tirelessly over the summer. Again, people don't see those people. The maintenance staff, our custodial staff. I love it. You know, you go in and like for example, with Bear Gulch fire, like they've had people at OBJH.
Yeah.
And so the staff there, and I'm sure some other maintenance staff from the district chipped in and got it really ready last minute, you know, because we opened up that building to the response staff for the fire. And so, but yet school has to happen and be ready to go, and staff have to show up and have everything ready. I don't ever want to have teachers have to worry about their instructional space. I want it to have ready. Desks are ready. Things are clean. It's organized. They can then get their classrooms ready for the learning portion, not just the logistical portion.
See a lot of the pictures and the videos of everyone welcoming the students in and big smiles. Last week we talked about getting your student ready if they're transitioning or coming in, and just an exciting time here, you know, for a lot of things now with social media and, you know, kind of the way Shelton works. It's the perception is the reality of what goes on. And so what is it? How does it feel when you're out there talking with staff and parents and the community at large? Like, how's the district? What are you feeling from the community on this?
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people this week. A lot of parents, people just trusting that they're sending their kid to the district. I know I usually, I'm always assessing on all levels as much as I can on all the issues that we have. It's complex to run a school district and all the things. Again, people don't see the stuff behind the curtain, right? So, the readiness of the building, sure, that's one aspect, but we had to redo some routes, right, for school buses. And we lost a bus driver last week. Like those little things, you're like, oh, well, that's good. Well, you start adding them up, and you're like, well, the pieces do fit together, because if that bus driver's down, who's going to fill that route? We had a bus go down yesterday. Who's going to do that? My director of transportation filled in. So I'm just making sure all those little pieces get put in place. In the communities, when they show up, I'm like, all right, are we ready for them? Is the front office able to answer their questions? What kind of questions are coming to us, Jeff? And so a lot of offices were not overwhelmed. That's always a good sign.
Yeah, that's good.
Because, they're not showing up like, what's going on? I don't know how to, where are my kids' bus? Well, even at having it at Olympic Middle School, they had the roster for all the kids' names and the routes. And so they can just get their information. They're empowering family stuff, went really smoothly. That's great. They're not showing up, they're just like, we want to have them know how to access information so they can be as independent as possible, so that we can reserve the limited capacity we have with like 2 front office administrators sitting there answering questions when you have 550 students attending your school, right? So that the really hard, more complex questions, I'm transferring here from Texas, coming to the school district, I know nothing about it, I have none of the information, what do I need to do, right? And that can be a lot, because you're like, what's about my district? What's the hours for the school? What about the vaccination requirements? All the things that come into play that, we're required to do as a school district. We got to walk those people through it, and that just takes time. And we want to do it in a way that's not feeling very hurried.
Right. You want to make sure you give the individual attention as best you can.
The best customer service we can. And that's, again, like when you have that many families and students, we are limited, like sometimes it's like feels probably hurried. We're not trying to intend to do that at all. It's just at the start of school, it's a fast foot race right off the bat. And again, my assessment is going through all the schools the last 2 days. So I've been at all the schools twice over both days and just kind of look at it. And then I've talked to a lot of parents, and they've done well. And the staff said, this is our best start ever. Like OBJH had their halls clear both yesterday and today. It looked amazing. I talked to some parents there and other places like, oh my gosh, this is going really smoothly. I know that a lot of parents drop off their students the first 3 days here, and then they usually resume to kind of a normal habits come Monday, just because it takes a long time to get new kids on routes because you're checking for every kid, right?
Yeah.
So people have been patient. So I want to say thank you, parents and guardians, for being patient, as you drop off your kids. I know it takes a little bit of time right now, but let's be safe, right? And so I haven't had any safety issues, and a couple kids got on the wrong bus yesterday on the way home, but we figured out,
That happens.
No, bus 8, not 18.
Sure.
And when you get a kid that's, all of 7 years old, you're like, you think we got them on the right bus, and you're like, got a couple of those. Everybody got home safely. Food's getting served. Kids are coming in a little bit late sometimes, just trying to get ready for the school year. And it's good. Just amazing. I know I harp on this all the time, and I'm like, I'm sure people are listening. Like, he talks about literacy all the time. Like, yes, I do. Again, it's the gateway skill. If kids can read and write, they're no longer busy trying to learn how to read. They're learning all the content and how to navigate school on their own as independent learners. And there was ELA instruction happening at all schools yesterday, Jeff.
That's great.
All
Starting off
all
strong.
schools, like every one of them. Like, that's up and down, right? And that's, I had to reflect on that last night. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, that's what also happened.
What are some of those other things then? Share a little bit more, like at the end of the day when you go, whew, we cut the ribbon and now they're off and running.
Yeah. So, off and running. Like, I look at a lot of hires. So I'm always, whenever we hire new teachers, I want to try to get at least a glance on them. We have a number of new counselors this year. We had a number of counselors retire this last year. So I'm really interested in seeing what they're doing. I had one I caught today teaching a lesson around, some social skills and about what it is to have a wrinkly heart. And that not all hearts are smoothed over, and that people experience all sorts of different emotions, and had a book to go with it. Thought that was really nice, and a nice little 15-minute lesson, and doing that with our students. So that was nice to see from a brand new counselor, and that she's working really hard to do that. I talked to, like I said, I go around. I was talking to one of our behavior techs or one of our paraeducators, and how's it going? It's like, oh my gosh, Wyeth, it's like the best year ever. Look at this place. Like, everybody's like, the kids are everywhere they got to go. We have a hall pass system because those are big things, passes and where they're at and where they're supposed to be, and makes it really smooth when kids are in classes. And then, then I'm like doing my job of telling principals, I go, well, now your next job is to make sure that we have really engaging lessons that are really moving kids and feeling kids that they, again, are empowered in their own independent learning. Because they gotta be able to read, they gotta write. Are they having fun as they're learning? Is they're building relationships? Like, because if they're not, then I like to say they'll entertain themselves, and that's usually not that's usually leads to bigger problems.
How much do you shoot out emails to either the principals or the staff with these little stories or an inspirational quote? Like, how engaged on that level are you?
Not many. That might just be the difference between our ages here, and we're not that much far apart, but I prefer in person. I try to catch people on the go. I write notes almost every week, Jeff. So I have these postcards, and I put them in letters. I mean, they are literally stationary, and I put them in envelopes and I send them to staff. I wrote 5 yesterday and sent them out. I'll do that all the way through this school year to recognize people. The things that I see are stories. In addition to, it's easier to tell a story and all the things, connections in person than it is in email. But the letters are my way of, since I've been here, is my way to connect with staff and let them know the wonderful things they're doing.
We've got ourselves a little traveling road show we're getting ready for here. We're
Yes, sir.
Hit up the different schools. All the schools are going to get an evening visit with you. The billing is going to be you, probably a school board member, the principal of that school, and then someone in that school, teacher, counselor, somebody. And then I'll be facilitating a kind of a conversation at each of the schools. So be on the lookout for your dates and things like that. Bordeaux is going to be the first one. And so this is kind of a new thing. And again, just to increase the communication with the parents of that school to be able to say, great things are happening at Bordeaux. From your level, we are seeing, great attendance and reading. And from Kyle, the principal there, he's going to say, we're dealing with these kids on a one-on-one basis and things like that. And the teacher's going to really be able to hone in on some of those new skills that they're teaching there. What are you hoping to get out of these? I think they're going to be great fun.
Yeah. We've talked about this before, sometimes, and even educators themselves think school was this way.
Yeah.
Right? You put this vision in your head or whatever you see on TV or a sitcom or something, and you go, oh, that's how school is. Well, again, that's not meeting reality, today's reality. And so we want to shape that to have a shared understanding of oh, this is what's going on at Bordeaux Elementary, and saying, how do you handle these situations, or why do you focus on that? Why are books coming home? Or what are you guys doing for math? I haven't heard about the math so much. What's going on there? And so those are really helpful things, I think, to where we are building, a stronger partnership between the parents and guardians and the school. That's where the power is at. It's not going to be with district office. They care about the school and the services for the kids. And to your point, Jeff, this is a way that we can bring it to them. I have questions, or I want to know more about my school and how this operates, and how is the school even being supported, and why or why not do you have these things going on? That's important for the transparency. We want to continue to build the trust of our community in the Shelton Public School District. And as I've been saying lately, I could think of no other better place than you would want to invest your tax dollars into the Shelton School District. We are getting the most returns. We are the #1 school district in the state for early literacy growth. We're getting more kids ninth grade on track. Graduation rates are up until this last year because I grabbed more kids out of the woods that were not in school.
That's right, you found them.
I did find them, so that one's looking a little down, but that doesn't tell the whole story, right?
Sure.
And you can't tell that story unless you're in person. So come and ask me that question. Why is it going down this year? When we get to SH, I'll tell you why. Because we went out in there and grabbed him. We brought him into choice. I'm glad we did that. Sure, it doesn't pad my number. I'm not into padding my numbers. I'm into helping the kids. And that's the most important thing. And that's why I think this district, the Shelton School District, is the best, if not one of the best, right, school districts here in Washington State.
And what's nice about this too is that I understand as a parent that you're not going to be able to go to every event. You're not going to be able to attend all the things or volunteer in the classrooms on maybe ever because of your job or your situation. But what you're looking for in these types of conversations is, if you are home with your kids, do some reading together, see what they're learning, be a part of this. And even those couple minutes a day, if they can have uninterrupted one-on-one focus time on, tell me about what I heard at the forum that you're learning this. I never had the opportunity to learn this when I was in your grade. Tell me more about it. It's a good bridge, I think, too, for the staff and the office and the teachers and the students and the parents, I guess, all together. Yeah.
Yes, these forums aren't everything, but they are an opportunity for some come out and hear from their principal and a teacher, whatever, educator, counselor, in person, in addition to myself and a board director, right? Just about what's going on for that school and why and how it's grown. There's a whole story there. Like each, like I say, like this district's changed a lot. They probably don't care so much about the district. Like, tell me about my kid's school. Like, what's going on? How's this changed and where it's at, right? And so that's a powerful. And I'll add again here, Jeff, and I really hope people take us up on this offer. Come check it out. Come walk in when school's in session. Walk around. Like, I'll be happy to tour you, or the principal can tour you, or somebody can tour you. If neither of us are available, someone will come and meet you there and walk you through it. What do you want to see, and let's go see it, because we have nothing but to be proud of. Yeah, sure, there's going to be some things where moments aren't always good, but they're learning moments for kids. Yeah, sometimes whether it's a seventh grader being snarky. Yeah, seventh graders, I've known snarkiness before.
Sure.
Relatives included, maybe close ones, right? Like, but it's also like, I talk about that with, the principals, assistant principals, and some of the staff. Yeah, they just give it, like, how can we do that? And I know some of our staff are reaching right out to families and bringing them already in and going, hey, this is what we saw. I don't think that's not the kind of stuff we want for the kids. They're like, yeah, we're noticing some of that too. Then let's get on the same page. Let's don't get split by the kid. We don't want to put the kid in the driver's seat in that regard.
Sure.
Let's build this up. Let's build a partnership so that we can put them in the student ultimately in the driver's seat of feeling success and learning the skills that we want, both academically and obviously behaviorally, social, emotionally. Those are the things we want. So they're great community members who are active to be learners in their own stands.
First one's going to be at Bordeaux, and then we'll be around monthly to different schools in the district. We're going to hit them all. So all the parents in those district, parents and guardians in those schools will have an opportunity to learn more about what's going on as we move through this first half of the school year. I think that's going to be a good one. Additionally, a reminder too, the first home football game is always a doozy because new coach there, but also at the high school an opportunity to see all the clubs and a lot of the fun things that are happening there is kind of an open house. So it's just more outreach is always a good thing, I think. More conversations like this keep it going, and 178 more days.
178 more days of
great learning,
amazing learning, and watching students feel successful.
It's an awesome time of the year. Kids are, going in, eyes wide open, excited about this new year and new teachers and all the new opportunities. So, we'll check in before too long again in the office of Superintendent Wyeth Jessee here at the Shelton School District. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jeff.